Realtors, this is Adam Ashmont, President and Realtor of Ashmont Realty. And this week's Realtor tip, we're going to discuss how to keep your mental health through the ups and downs of real estate. And we have a very special guest today, and we're going to talk to him right after this. We have a very special guest today that we're going to speak to, and his name is Fadi Smiley of Smiley Health and Wellness Coaching, and he's a national certified wellness coach, and he did his studying at the Mayo Clinic. And today we're going to talk about the ups and downs of real estate. One of the biggest issues that I have ran into personally, and I've seen over the years with other agents, is the fact of coming out of a 9-to-5 job that's stable and pretty consistent, and getting to more of a commission-based type industry like real estate. Sometimes it's just hard to get through that. And I wanted to save this video for the winter, because typically this is the slowest time of the year, and a lot of people get down on themselves, and just the gloom of the cold weather that we get in the Midwest. So Fadi, thanks for joining us. How important to you, and this, I know this is what you do, is mental health in any industry, not just real estate?
Yeah, thanks, Adam, for having me on.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, yeah. So, in terms of health and wellness coaching, we tend to look at our mindset not as like a mental health, because we leave the mental health to the therapists and the counselors and stuff.
Okay.
But what we try to do is we try to help individuals develop that positive mindset that can in turn boost their mental health and their emotional, physical, and spiritual health. The premise of health and wellness coaching is to kind of put you as the client in the driver's seat, per se. As a health and wellness coach, our job is to not really tell you what you should do or shouldn't do. What our job is to ask the right questions to help you discover that power that you have within inside you to develop a positive mindset, develop a positive environment, and to help you get through whatever situation you may be in or whatever goal you're looking to accomplish.
Okay. Well, the big thing, and I know from a personal standpoint, is the highs and lows. In real estate, anyone that's been in it long and all knows that each deal, right, or in each house that's sold, there's a large commission, and a lot of people sometimes count that money before the check's cashed, so, and if something falls through, it can be devastating, not only financially, but mentally.
Correct.
And in any service industry, if you're just not mentally sharp or just on top of it from a positive standpoint, it really influences your career and then your family life and etc. So what would be some tips, like some basic tips for someone who is getting stressed out, not making the money they thought they did? Maybe they lost some key customers that really could benefit them financially. What are some steps or some key points that they need that they can do at home without seeking help?
Absolutely. Yeah. And typically that's what we try to do, is we try to help, what I try to do as a wellness coach is to help people become autonomous. They're able to make those decisions for themselves and go out and find those solutions, and be able to accomplish whatever task by using their own power and their strengths and values. Typically, when individuals are going through this, I like to guide them to focus on setting a strong foundation, because you can't build on top of that unless you've got the solid base.
Right.
And as generic as it may sound, studies have shown over and over again that if you're eating right, if you're exercising right, and if you're sleeping right, those will definitely set the strong foundation to be able to build the techniques and everything that you would need to keep a positive mindset.
Okay. So that's lowering cortisol levels of stress, and which can be prefabricated by mental, you're mentally stressing and worrying about things that you have no control over, I guess. And then so it gives you that. So that makes sense. Just eat right, get sleep. That's because if you're not if you're not those things, you can't function very well at all, right?
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
And
And
it's not healthy.
yeah, yeah. And actually, not only that, it helps you be more receptive to if something doesn't go your way. You're more capable of coping with, if a sale doesn't go through, or if something doesn't go a certain way that you need to, or if you find yourself struggling, you're more able to uh, analyze the situation, figure out a way to cope with it, and be able to move on and move forward, be able to put together a plan to be able to get through it, whether it's to find another client or to whether figure out a way to push that deal through or whatever it may be.
What about patience? I think one of the big thing is, and we didn't talk about this before, but one issue is I think people have this misconception that, and it's TV, the Bravo channel, that all these millionaire real estate brokers, that they drive the Bentleys and the Ferraris, like that's me, I'm going to be that. And they quickly realize that it's not everyone can achieve that level. Now, I believe with hard work and the right mindset, you can,
Absolutely.
but it doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and years of grind. And so what's a good way for people who are they like to have that instant self gratification, to be patient in any job? It could be really in any career.
Yeah. I think I think if there's anything that this world could use more of is is being more patient. And
absolutely.
with my experience, the number one thing that I found that a lot of individuals struggle with is it's their focus. The focus is on the outcome in and of itself. The focus is on having that nice car, having that mansion, or being able to, have a bank account that's going through the roof. And the thing is what those individuals sometimes lose sight of is that is the process to get there. They become so focused on the outcome, they lose sight of the process. And one of the best ways to really work on your patience is to shift that focus. Shift the focus onto the process. Have a plan set out and have a daily action plan written out to where what you're going to work on each day. And when you accomplish those individual tasks, you celebrate them. So you celebrate this, you have an action plan, celebrate those small successes, and stay focused on that process. And before you know it, those outcomes will just manifest themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing is, if there's 3 words I could tell people is trust the process. Okay. 100%. Buy into it and trust it.
How do you create a process?
So one of the most efficient ways to create a process is it all starts with you. You kind of really need to, whether it be you write it down or you talk to somebody about it, or whatever works best for you, is you need to really discover what is it that you value. What are your strengths? What do you believe in? Start with the core of everything, which is you. What is it that you mainly value? What is it that's going to give you that drive and motivation? What's the why of this whole process? And once you're able to determine that, you begin to explore, what your strengths are. What can I do on my own? And then what do I need to seek help from? Because I think one of the number one things that we forget is that a lot of these individuals that became all these billionaires, they didn't do it by themselves. Right. They had help. They had a support system, whether it be through, a brokerage,
or a mentor,
or a mentor. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. So, and, once you're able to do that, you need to start to put together a plan. Have a plan. Don't just jump into it and just say, I'm going to wing it and it'll work out for the best. Have a plan of action. And once you write out that plan, it's not set in stone. It's going to change. So let it evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's a good
Take
point.
what works, take it with you, and what doesn't work, leave it by the side, and you continue to move forward. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people get this mindset that, I'm afraid to fail, or I'm afraid to what people are how I'm going to be judged if I'm not able to accomplish this or that. I think those are a couple of mental obstacles that a lot of people need to overcome as well. I tell my clients all the time, failure isn't a true failure if you just keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep trying, because if you keep trying and you take a lesson from that failure, you continue to move forward. So
Right.
that's part of that, and that's a main stepping stone within trusting the process, is knowing that failure is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's part of the process. It's just what your perception of the failure is, and how you decide to move forward from it.
I think I was very lucky that I got into an industry that I really loved. And it wasn't about the money, it was the process. And I think that's why I've survived or been successful through the journey, is because if you don't enjoy the process, you never will make the end goal. You just can't. And if you enjoy it, and you love the good and bad, it's not all fun. I mean, full disclosure, I've cleaned toilets, and not only at the office when you own a company, but also at a property before someone comes to look at it, because you don't want a dirty toilet. Literally, you got to do that stuff. And if you just don't like that process, then you'll never be successful at anything. Then and before you know it, you'll look back and be like, I've accomplished a lot. And it's that inch mentality, like inches turn to feet, feet turn to yards, yards to miles, or whatever. And but you have to enjoy the inches, because if not, it'll eat you up and kill you. And that's why a lot of people get stuck in dead end jobs, I think, and it's sad. I feel bad for them, because I think what they're looking at the end goal, which is the paycheck.
Sure.
And it's that fear maybe that if they quit their job, they won't have that paycheck, but they hate every aspect of that journey being in that situation. I think that's sad, because they're trading their life and time for a paycheck, not the journey.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah.
Any other tips?
Some other tips, I guess, is a couple other things that really help you keep that positive mindset is a few other things that I suggest to my clients is that, when these challenges occur, whether, is to embrace them, don't run away from them, don't try to avoid them, because if you avoid them, all of a sudden you're going to constantly worry and think about that challenge, and it's just going to occupy space in your brain, and your brain is going to use all that energy worrying about it, as opposed to if you just embrace it and start learning on how can you overcome that challenge. It's going to require you to be persistent. Another thing that individuals can do is to find inspiration from others. Now, I don't mean like compare yourself to others and doing that comparison thing, but
that can be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But I think, to a certain extent, I think people can really learn from those individuals by finding out what they did that helped them succeed. It might not help you 100%, but at least you've been able to, you can still learn from what they are, and it kind of goes back to the whole mentorship thing. You find someone who's doing what you're doing, and they've,
learn from them,
in the direction that you're going on that path.
Yeah.
And you want to, take what they've, learned, take what they've used to succeed, and apply it to yourself. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think if you compare, because they're on a different journey than you are, but I tell all agents when I train them, like, learn. There is a process. There is from A to Z. Now it deviates a little bit, and you have to adjust and be flexible, but you gotta, I tell them, learn from my mistakes. Just do it, because it'll save you so much time.
Absolutely.
But and I don't like learning the hard way.
Yeah.
What they always say, the first people that went into the frontier got all the arrows in their back. Like, let people, let them take the arrows, and you can learn, and then you can be successful without so many.
Absolutely.
arrows stuck in your back. So, well, cool.
Yes. So I guess just one other thing that occurred that I
Sure.
just remembered was, I think, one thing that we some individuals tend to forget is that, create what I'd like to call is create a success stack. And what these can be is what these are is just small successes. List them out and stack them on top of one another. And that way you can visually see what you've accomplished. And it could just be minor things, whatever it may be, but celebrate those small successes, because what that's going to do in the end is really boost your confidence. It's going to motivate you to continue moving forward, and it's going to, keep you focused on that path or the journey that you're on.
And is that, when you say that, meaning like a dry erase board, like you're writing it up, like, and it could be as simple as, and I know I do this, just like a to-do task. And it could be, I need to fix this or take the kids there, or, it doesn't have to be necessarily professionally, because when I accomplish a lot of those, I feel like the king. You know what I mean? Like and even if it's non-business related, I feel like I was a productive father, productive in business, and or for a client, it makes you feel really good. So you say that you should do like daily tasks and then weekly, or how small of a window?
Yeah, I think, it's optimally, I tell people to do daily, and
Daily.
to
Okay.
write out that list the night before. So like, whether you implement it into your bedtime routine, or,
Okay.
however you decide to do it, is that you make that list at bedtime. That way, when you wake up in the morning and, you do your morning routine and you do your morning thing, you take a look at that task list, and then you've got your day laid out.
Okay.
It may not go that way per se, but at least now you've started the day on a positive note, knowing what you need to accomplish.
Got it. Okay.
And don't, I tell my clients all the time, don't take for granted the feeling of crossing something off that list.
Okay.
It's a feeling of accomplishment, and embracing even that small feeling can really have a dramatic effect on the chemicals in your brain and the mood that you have and how you see and your outlook on the rest of your day.
So I use Evernote, which is an app, on your phone with the elevator things, right?
Yeah.
So do you recommend putting in that, because most people are paperless now?
Yeah, I mean, I think
almost
any way
100%
to just
paperless, but
absolutely, yeah.
but
I think
that's
any way to get it out of your head. Try
okay.
not to keep. I tell my clients, don't keep the list in your head, because you can use that brain energy on something more productive. Write it down, type
point.
it, text it to yourself, use a notes app or whatever it may be. But yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And what about, I guess, last is, what about reading or podcasts or anything like that? Is that something too that you recommend your clients to do? Or because it's nonstop. I literally have my AirPod, and it's just nonstop. And one of my friends, he really pushed me to start reading more books, but I'm lazy, so I do the Audible, right? So you can multitask it and things
Absolutely.
like that. But like pumping in that like positive energy in your brain, it's no different than the opposite. If you're in a bad situation where you have a parent or a spouse that they're always pumping negative information, like, shit goes in and shit goes out, so is that something you would also recommend for people as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, becoming, I like to say, like, lifelong students, and prior to, and making learning a priority,
Right.
whether it's something that you want to, learn that's, related to your career, whether you're learning more about mortgages and brokerages and real estate, or if you're
Right.
just learning more about just life in general. I mean, whatever it may be. I think even just spending just 10-15 minutes a day can have beneficial effects on your mood and your mental health.
Yeah.
It's it's to help you develop that whole growth mindset, positive and growth mindset. You're constantly growing, whether it's you just learn one small minute thing or whatever it may be to benefit you've grown that day.
Right.
And so yes, absolutely, definitely beneficial.
Good. All right. Well, I appreciate it a lot that you came on and joined this weekly tutorial. I hope, because mental health is so important. because you can accomplish so much in life, or you can absolutely destroy everything in your life.
Absolutely.
It goes both ways. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, and stay warm.
Absolutely.
And if someone wants to reach out to you to maybe get some one-on-one coaching, how do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. They can, contact me directly. My phone number, my business number is 614-915-2350.
Okay.
Or they can check out my website, smileywellnesscoaching.com, and
Okay.
they can send me a message, and my number's on there as well.
And I'll put all that stuff in the description for somebody.
Okay.
And the cool thing is they don't have to leave their house. They can do it all on Zoom,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all done remotely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that saves time and, no excuses, right?
That's right.
Yeah. That's right. Awesome. Well, thanks, Fadi. Thanks again. You've been a wonderful friend. And,
I appreciate
it's
you
great.
having
I
me
hope
on.
this helps one agent out to stay with the process, because that's what it is. It is a grind, a process, but I honestly felt like I haven't worked in 10 years. Legit. I mean, we're standing here in 12 in the afternoon, hanging out, chatting about this. I mean, life could get a lot worse for sure.
Absolutely.
So, but I appreciate it. So all Fadi's information will be down below, smileywellnesscoaching.com, right?
Yeah.
You can go right to your website, book some appointments, and he'll get you in the right direction. So, okay. Well, thanks so much for watching this week's tutorial. We'll see you next week. And you can like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook, and we will see you next time.